Hey everybody, Levi Turner here, back with the last video for this course. This week we'll be covering box and whisker plots and looking at the variability analysis. So we've got our K-12 school level data here, and so I'm going to go ahead and copy this sheet because I don't want to disrupt or disturb the data that I have. I'm going to create a copy, move it to the end, and then we'll hit OK. And now I've got my clean copy here. What I want to look at is the percentage of students who met with reading and the percentage of students who met with math. And we're going to break that down and do a variability analysis on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the other data that's here. I'm going to select those columns and delete that. School 1 is, let's go ahead and get rid of the attendance column as well. And we'll go ahead and remove the academic quarters as well. School 1 is missing some data, so we'll get rid of School 1. School 2 is also missing some math data, so we'll get rid of that. And School 3 seems to be the first school that has all of the data, so I'm going to go ahead and select all the other schools and get rid of that. And for this particular video journal, we will just focus on School 3. We will focus on the percentage of meeting reading and the percentage of meeting math. So first thing I'm going to do is run my descriptive statistics just so I can have a clear understanding of what we're looking at there. And I'm going to go to data. We've all done this before, but we'll just walk through the process together. And I will select that column and we will drop it right here and let that kick out our statistics, and we will do the same here and kick out the rest of our statistics on another one, selecting that column, and we will run column C, and we will kick column C out right next to column B. And I'm going to rename this just so we can keep everything in line. Percent meeting reading, and we'll call this one, you guessed it right, percent meeting math. So we have our descriptive statistics there. We can see that the range is small really for both of these. When you look at test scores, it's a tight range, and so when we look at our box and whisker, we should assume that we're going to see something similar, a small range. We can also see that the skew is relatively low for reading, which suggests that the data is pretty symmetrical. There's not really a lot of outliers, and we can kind of see that just by looking at the data here. 100 on the max and 95 on the min, and we have a little bit wider of a range here on the math, and the skewed, and it's negatively skewed, which means that there's a couple of scores that are bringing the data down lower than what it actually probably is. And we can actually see that when we look up here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 scores of 100, 2 really tightly there, close to 95, and then we have a 90 and an 89. They're not really outliers necessarily, but they are bringing the score down. So we can look at the descriptive statistics and kind of see our variability analysis and make some assumptions about the box and whisker plot that we're going to see, and just about the data before we actually pull it up. I'm going to go ahead and select the whole data set that I have, A1 down to C9. I'm going to go to Insert. We're going to insert a box and whisker chart. I'm going to move this guy out of the way of the data so we can still see our headings. And now we've got everything nice and tight on one screen. I'm going to change this chart title to box and whisker of reading and math meets scores at school 3, right? One of the other things I want to do, which we did in a previous video, is I'm going to format this axis. We're never going to have a score higher than 100, so I want to make sure that is shown there. And then we have a lot of empty space down here, and so I'm going to bring the minimum up to 88, and we can kind of see that a little bit better. I also want to add a legend, right? So you can see the box and whisker for percent, just the titles of what we're looking at. All right, so our box and whisker shows basically what our descriptive statistics show. Essentially that our reading scores are really tight. There are very few outliers, if any. The students either made 100 or between 100 or 95. Nobody really deviated out of that. Whereas when we look at our math score, we do see that there is a min at the bottom that is quite a bit lower than the rest of, considering, it's all still in the A range, but it is lower than the rest here comparatively to reading. As a principal, if I were making decisions based off of this, I may put a priority toward math, and maybe trying to improve our math scores ever so slightly. Even though we're doing very well in reading, it looks like we need to continue more of the same for what we do in reading, but maybe look at some interventions for those kids who are already achieving at a high level, and try and get them to close some gaps so that we could get rid of that lower whisker there and have it more closely aligned with the rest of the box. This concludes the journal, and this was the last journal entry for this course. I'm so excited that you guys got to follow this journey with me, and I look forward to seeing what everybody else is able to do with their box and whisker plots.